The president of Russia's space agency Roscosmos has suggested that sanctions on Russia might cause the International Space Station, or ISS, to fall out of orbit and crash into the United States or Europe. Elon Musk has responded by stating that he is willing to save the International Space Station, or ISS. But how will he do so? Let's find out. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel, Elon Musk World, where we tell you all the latest news about Elon Musk and his multi-billion-dollar companies. In today's video, we are going to tell you about the response of Elon Musk over a Russian threat using the ISS. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our incredible videos. Elon Musk has responded to Russia's threat to deorbit the International Space Station by declaring that SpaceX will intervene before it happens. After warnings from Vladimir Putin's space commander, Elon Musk has stated that SpaceX will save the International Space Station if Russia attempts to lower it from orbit. Dmitry Rogozin has cautioned that Russian technology and experience will be required to keep the ISS from colliding with the United States or Europe. Who will preserve the ISS from an uncontrolled deorbit and fall into the United States and Europe if you refuse to cooperate with us? Following President Joe Biden's declaration of sanctions in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Rogozin tweeted on Friday. Musk, on the other hand, weighed in with a SpaceX logo in response to Rogozin's threat. When a Twitter user asked the billionaire if this meant SpaceX could keep the ISS from falling into the Earth, Musk replied, yes. He also replied to a tweet that showed the ISS without the Russian segment and a SpaceX Dragon attached instead. Good thread, Musk wrote. The head of the Russian space agency warned on Thursday, February 24th, that further sanctions against his country could jeopardize the International Space Station program. Do you want to sabotage our ISS cooperation? Rob Mitchell translated one of Roscosmos Director General Dmitry Rogozin's tweets for Ars Technica senior space editor Eric Berger, who published Mitchell's translation on Twitter. The ISS program, which also includes Canada, Japan, and a number of other European countries, is led by Russia and the United States. On Thursday, Russia launched a series of military strikes against Ukraine. International censure and fresh economic penalties have been imposed in response to the conduct, which U.S. President Joe Biden claims will impair Russia's space program. However, NASA recently stated that civil cooperation between the United States and Russia in space will continue, particularly with relation to the International Space Station. Rogozin, on the other hand, took a very different tone, implying that the new sanctions could result in the ISS crashing to Earth in an uncontrolled manner. In a series of tweets, Rogozin accused the U.S. of already limiting exchanges between Russian cosmonauts and their foreign counterparts, warning that any more activity might irreversibly jeopardize the ISS accord. Rogozin pointed to Russia's control function on the ISS, saying Biden is out of the loop and ignorant that the space agent can avoid hazardous collisions with space trash thanks to Russian equipment. The space debris, according to Rogozin, comes from the brilliant businessman in the United States. He didn't say who he was referring to, but it's presumably SpaceX founder and CEO Elon Musk, whose businesses is creating a massive satellite internet constellation dubbed Starlink. SpaceX has already launched over 2,000 Starlink satellites and plans to launch up to 40,000 more in the future. Rogozin, on the other hand, made no mention of a November event in which a Russian anti-satellite test resulted in a cloud of orbital debris that threatened the crew of the International Space Station, causing them to take over. The risk posed to the station and its crew, which includes Russian cosmonauts, was criticized by space debris watchers. Rogozin also stated that the ISS would deorbit naturally without the use of Progress fighters or periodic reboosts. The space station's roughly 250-mile-high, 400-kilometer orbit collides with some particles in Earth's atmosphere, gently dragging the complex down. However, just a few days ago, a Northrop Grumman-built Cygnus spacecraft landed at the ISS with the mission of performing the program's first operational reboost, which might eventually be transferred to U.S. vehicles as well. Despite this, Rogozin mentioned the possibility of the space station collapsing prematurely, pointing out that the complex's orbital inclination of 51.6 degrees does not take it over Russia. Who will save the ISS from an unguided deorbit hit on U.S. or European land if you refuse to cooperate with us? Rogozin penned an article. There is also the possibility that the 500-ton structure will have an influence in India or China. The wind was howling. Rogozin is well known in the space community for a threat he made in 2014 during a different geopolitical disagreement involving Ukraine, in which he recommended that American astronauts go to space on a trampoline rather than Russia's Soyuz spacecraft. His remarks on Thursday were equally colorful. Rogozin said, for example, that those planning sanctions may have Alzheimer's disease, that decision makers are unaware that Russian rockets are the most reliable in the world, and the US is attempting to limit us access to radiation-hardened microelectronics developed for use in space. It's also not the first time in recent years that Rogozin has mentioned sanctions. For example, the trampoline remark was made in response to news of fresh sanctions. According to media reports, the United States planned a different set of restrictions in 2021 in response to what American officials described as Russian-led cyber attacks and election interference. Russia denied the claim at the time. Rogozin vowed to take Russia out of the ISS by 2025 unless the sanctions were lifted at the time. However, Rogozin's latest remarks came just months after Russia completed a substantial extension to the ISS. The long-awaited Nuka Science module arrived on the ISS in July, causing a spacecraft emergency owing to an unscheduled thruster firing, which was quickly handled by the space station partners. The Pierre docking module arrived at the ISS without issue in November, increasing the number of docking ports on the Russian side. Russia is an important member of the 15-nation alliance that has kept the International Space Station in orbit for the past 23 years, but ties are at an all-time low as a result of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. On Thursday, Joe Biden unveiled new sanctions that he said would degrade Russia's aerospace industry, including their space program. Hitherto, I have been largely in favor of continued artistic and scientific collaboration, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson told MPs on Thursday, but under the current circumstances, it's hard to see how even those can continue as normal. NASA, on the other hand, had moved to diffuse concerns by claiming that sanctions will have no impact on ISS operations. NASA continues to cooperate with all of our foreign partners, including the state space corporation Roscosmos, to ensure the International Space Station's continued safe operation, a NASA spokesperson said. The new export control procedures will allow civil space cooperations between the United States and Russia to continue. The agency's support for ongoing in-orbit and ground station operations is not expected to change. NASA has been striving to minimize its reliance on Russian rockets to transport astronauts into space in recent years, instead enlisting the help of Elon Musk SpaceX to create them. There's no denying that the world is in a desperate need of a moral boost right now, as proven by Twitter's other trending hero, the Ghost of Kiev, who many credit for single-handedly protecting Ukrainian cities. Musk, on the other hand, has made promises before, such as when he promised to rescue imprisoned teenagers in the Thai cave and then failed horribly. As a result, it's becoming increasingly difficult to take him seriously. Musk did, however, respond to another interesting Twitter thread describing how SpaceX could dock with the ISS without the Russian segment. Pete Harding, NASA Spaceflight.com's International Space Station editor, tweeted renders of SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft connected to the ISS to give stability and control. A Dragon could be docked to provide reboost capability, Harding said online Thursday. We sincerely hope you enjoyed the video. If so, give it a like and share it with your friends and family. Let us know if you have any questions or comments in the section below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see more of our incredible videos. You can also watch our other videos that have been specially selected for you. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.